Hi, everybody. I hope you and yours are well. This is Avrohom Czapnik from the Jewish Learning Exchange. This week's Parshat is Parshat Naso, which is the largest portion in all of the Torah. And in it, some of the topics are what the Nesiim, the princes of each tribe, donated to the Mishkan. So firstly, they gave wagons and oxen to help the tribe of Levi carry the Mishkan when it was taken apart and the Jews were traveling in the desert. And they also gave the first sacrifices to the newly established Mishkan, tabernacle, mini temple, portable temple in the desert. Question we have to ask ourselves, which is relevant to us all the time, how do we hold on to inspiration? Sometimes we'll read an article, we hear a class, or we have a feeling, we have a prayer that really hits the mark and we feel inspired. But usually what happens is that unfortunately, as time dissipates and it just wears off and the inspiration is gone. So we can be inspired by the Nesiim, because they were a very special group of people, the heads of each tribe. They actually had wanted to give a special donation to the construction of the tabernacle, of the Mishkan. And they offered a wonderful offer. They told Moshe, let everybody donate, and whatever the Jewish people don't donate, we'll fill in the blanks, which is a beautiful offer. I wish somebody offered that to me at JLE, right? Whatever you can raise for the month's bills, great. Whatever's missing, we'll make up the difference, right? But what ended up happening was the Jewish people gave with such graciousness and such kindness and such bounty that there was nothing left for them to seem to give. And they felt very badly about that. And they didn't just go, oh, well, we missed out. It bothered them, and they held on to the inspiration. We want to contribute. We want to do something. And they came up with this idea of bringing the wagons and the oxen and the first sacrifices. And this was holding on to their inspiration to be part of it. And they couldn't do it. They felt they made a mistake, a grievous error in not contributing initially to the construction of it, but at least they were able to contribute later on. What about us? As I said, many of us, our inspiration wanes. There's a story about a Jewish soldier in World War I who he hated the battlefield and his comrades being killed and he was killing. And he just noticed, he noticed that there were some Orthodox soldiers that they managed to say, when there was a lull in the fighting, they kept their spirits up. They said Psalms, they learned, they did something. And he said, he turned to God and he said, God, I can't do those things. Unfortunately, it's not my fault. I wasn't raised with this. I didn't learn how to do any of this. But if you injure me a little bit so that I know you're watching and listening to me and save me from being in battle, I will go to yeshiva, I will start learning, I will become a religious person. And sure enough, a short while later, there was a short ceasefire, and one shot from the German lines came through and hit him in the finger and injured him that he could not fight anymore. And he says, wow, my prayers were answered. This is exactly what happened. And when the war was over, he went back home and he decided, you know what, I'm going to go study for a few months in college, finish my degree, and that's what he did. But after the 3 months, his inspiration waned. And then he didn't end up going to yeshiva, and he didn't end up becoming religious. And he himself said, had I not listened to the other part of me, and had I gone to yeshiva right when I came home, I'd be a different person now, and my life would be different. I missed out, and I took a left turn, and that was it. So we have to look within ourselves, what can we do to maintain our inspiration like the Nesiim did, like the princes did? And one thing I would say, we just had the holiday of Shavuos, which inspires us about Torah. So first we have to make Torah a greater priority. We should increase learning, add a class, add some moments to the learning that we're doing. I would also suggest having a Torah book. There's on any topic in any language, you can get a Torah book and keep it with you. You're going on a plane? Take it along. You're going in line? take it along. Use the opportunities you have and make the Torah a priority in your life, and do what you can to make it a priority. I know of a mother who just passed away, who one of her greatest thrills was taking her children to school. And she always volunteered to do the carpool because she said, I want to have the merit of my children going to yeshiva and me taking them. So having a priority of Torah. So the main thing is having our eyes on the ball. What's my goal? Where do I want to be? And try to maintain the inspiration and concretize it in an action right away. You hear a class, you hear a lecture, you read something, you're inspired. What can I do to concretize it in something real life, to make it real? And may Hashem help that all the inspiration that we have, and I started just doing something recently at JLE, sending out a inspirational thought of the week, and I hope you find those helpful and inspiring. But concretize the inspiration, put it into something practical which will make it easier for you to continue to grow and feel inspired and live an inspired life. And when we live an inspired life, there's nothing more special than that. That's being inspired 24/7, God willing. All the best. Have a great Shabbos. Take care.